Hey guys, it's Erin and it's another mixed media menagerie. As you know, this is a collaboration between Laura and Nicole and myself, and each month we have a couple of prompts and we use our Dina Wakley Media Journal to play. So carving a stamp was part of that, and I am going to speed through the process, but this is just the little tools I'm going to use. I do have a full video on how to carve and some reviews, so you can check that up there at the end of the video if you want. But we are just going to go ahead and jump into the super fast carve, or else this video would be like 3 hours long. I'm just going to make kind of a basic little flower pattern here. I'm using charcoal to transfer over my design to the back, and then I will go over it with some marker, and then I just go to town carving it out. I'll throw on some music and jump back in when the carving is done. This month was Nicole's drop, and I have this awesome blue bag. I have not peeked at all yet, so I'm opening it up and going to view it all for the first time with you guys, so this is pretty exciting. I got this little fun jar with lots of little bobs and bits and some fun rick-rack there. And we've got this cool paper, some fun little washies. Let me peel it off. Whoops, that one kind of ripped a little bit. That's okay. And we'll just get it all off there. Oh, that's really cool. And then this is fun. Some chevrons. And, well, get that sticky stuff out of the way. A cute little bag. There's a cardboard piece. Look at all the fun little goodies. Oh, I love the colors. The red and the blue together. Some bingo paper, some doilies, some pictures. Those are fun. A little book. That's kind of neat. A map. Tons of book pages. I'm so excited about the book pages. Cute little music ones. Ooh, these are cool. And they're like little stickers. That's fun. More book pages. Some pretty tissue paper. More book pages. Some ledgers. Lots and lots of goodies. So let's dive into the play. As always, we're going to go ahead and work in our Dina Wakley blue journal. And I have the jean side there. So to make both pages even, I'm going to gesso them both up. And now I'm going to take some of those luscious book pages that Nicole gifted me and matte medium those into the spread. I was really digging the chevrons on the page here of this little rolled up paper that she sent, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut them out and then glue them onto the journal spread. And then I also thought cutting up the bingo squares, because the color's pink and then they have the pink and the white, I thought that would be fun to add some of that on there and then also have the numbers to go along with the book pages. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm taking a bit of white gesso and I'm going to brayer over the top. This is kind of bring it all together, sort of give it more of a cohesive feel. And I'm just trying to get in all the little nooks and crannies. And then I'm going to grab a baby wipe and wipe off some of that gesso there. On the right side, it caught a little bit more covered than I wanted, and I wanted to bring back some of the book paper and then a little bit of the chevrons. So that is a good way to kind of lessen the gesso effects if you just grab either a damp cloth or, you know, a baby wipe and just kind of pull some of that color up. So that's what I'm doing, and then give it a good dry before we move on to the next step. And that next step just so happens to be Crackle Paste, one of my favorite mediums to play with. And I found this really neat, almost like a doily stencil from Prima. And so I'm just going to use this fun little Nuvo spatula that my friend Karen gifted me a while ago. And I love it. It's so wonderful. But I'm going to smush that Crackle Paste through, and I'm just going to put those on a couple areas of the page and then go ahead and let that dry naturally. If you are interested in the products that I use today, I will have those all linked down in the description box below. I am an Amazon affiliate, so if you purchase from any of the links, they are going to give me just a very small compensation at no additional cost to you. So it's kind of a great way to help support your favorite artists while they're doing their thing. Now we're going to go ahead and whip out the Lindy's sprays, and I love these, not only because they're pink, but they have a hint of shimmer. So I have a couple different pinks and then a little bit of a reddish orange one that I'm going to spray on, add a little bit of water and let those babies run, and then I'll bring in a little bit of titanium white heavy body fluid acrylics as well. So I thought while that was drying, we'd work on our focal. And I'm just going to take those book pages and fold them up and then fold it in half again. And because the theme of this month is love, I thought, let's make some hearts. So I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to make a little heart in the top fold here. Kind of carefully. Reminds me of grade school. I love it. And now I'm just going to take that same heart and use that as my template for the other side. And my thinking was we could make these two cute little half heart journals that we could art in also in the center of our page. So it would be like an art spread within an art spread, like a journal within a journal. So anyways, that was my thinking. So now we have these fun little hearts, and they'll end up going right there. But we want to kind of make them pretty as well. So let's grab those sprays and we will go ahead and give them a little spray with some shimmers in the paints. And then a little bit backwards, I added the gesso after the fact because I wanted to strengthen the pages because, you know, they're old book pages. I didn't want them to rip easily or anything. But I liked doing it this way because then the gesso, the clear gesso, will actually set the Lindy's. So anything I put over top of it, I won't have to worry that it's going to come up again. And here I'm just taking what was sprayed and putting the extras on the back side of the heart, so, you know, waste not, want not, and then it dries a little bit faster too. So that's all I'm doing here. So once you have the little hearts all dried up, just kind of line them back up to the best of your ability, and then we're just going to sew a super easy like pamphlet stitch. I'm going to come from the back side in, and then I'm going to go up into about the middle. I'm eyeballing, and I'm never perfect, but it doesn't matter. As long as it's sewn together, that's really all that matters. So then we're going to go from the back side back in on the top, and then go back through that middle again, and then we'll tie it on the back side. So as you can see, look at even here, I'm having a couple issues, and of course it's off camera because when you're trying to sew things that are close, and you need reading glasses, you have to pull them closer to you. So that's all that I'm doing here. And now I'm going to go ahead and give this a little knot on the outside. I'm going to pull it up here in a second so you can see. I'm holding it with my finger and then just knotting it up. And again, it doesn't have to be super perfect or tight. It's just to kind of give it something to hold together so our pages of our little half-heart journals don't fall apart. So we're going to repeat that same process on the other side, and then our little beginning journal pieces will be complete. So again, we're going to go from the outside in, go up to the middle, then we're going to go from the outside back in on the top of the heart, and then finish in the center. There's tons of stitching videos on like the pamphlet stitch, so if you're still confused, definitely check out one of those. But you know, once you, like I said, you could just sew a knot in the middle and that would totally work too. It's just something to hold our little mini books together. So we've got that done, and now we'll have some extra little strings there to hang off, which I thought would be kind of fun. And to decorate the top, we're going to bring back that same doily stencil and add some more crackle. So that's what I'm doing here. I set that off to the side to dry. Let's bring back that stamp that we created, or that I created rather, and I'm just taking some gray stamp ink here and just putting those kind of in the middle across the page, sort of like they're flowing from one side to the other. I only stamped it the one time and then used the ghost impressions, or the second generation, third generation stamping off to the side, so it kind of melted off to the side in the background. Now I have a little bit of the titanium white, which I think I said that I did earlier, but I'm going to do it now. I wanted more of those doilies to kind of pop out. They sort of were getting lost in the background, so I'm just going to play with a little bit of the ink and some water and then dry that up really good before the next step. So one of the prompts this month is the soft pastels, and I got these beautiful little babies for my birthday. I love the colors. They're just kind of soft and muted, but pack a punch. So one of the ways you can play with soft pastels is with a brush, or you can just kind of push them in there like regular chalk and then use a brush to brush them on as well. Now the fun thing about these ones is it says you can use them with water, and I've yet to try that, so I think that was one of the reasons I was like, oh yeah, I totally want to buy these. I love soft pastels. If you've followed my channel, you know I have a ton of them and I have some favorites, but I'm always down to try new ones, and so I thought I would try these ones and see what I thought of them. So now we're going to have this green, because you know it's kind of like a peachy pinkish color, but pink and green is such a beautiful combination too. So I wanted to add that along the side. So right here I'm just brushing it on, and then I thought, ooh, I'm going to try it wet, and so I just added a little bit of water and moved it around with my paintbrush. It kind of gave it like a grungy-ish sort of feel. I don't think this is necessarily how they're suggesting that you should use it, but one of the things I love when I'm playing is to try using the media in every way possible to find out new ways to use it and if I like it or not. So that's what I'm doing here, and then I'm going to give it a little dry, and you'll see that after it's wet I can come back, or I mean after it's dry rather, but once I've wet it and dried it, I can come back in with that same color and it'll actually darken the color up, which I thought was really wonderful. So I tried it that way, but it wasn't really packing the punch. So I'm just going to color it back on there and smudge it around with my finger, which is one of my favorite ways to do it. But you can see it really brings that color back and gives it more of a stronger feel. So this part, oh my goodness. So this pretty silver rickrack was in the ephemera package from Nicole, and I thought I'm just going to use some glue stick and I'll glue it on. Now you'll watch the prompts on the screen of how many times I run into glue issues with this rickrack. So in the beginning, this is what I'm attempting, and you'll see it's just a big hot mess. So I'm like, all right, now let's try the Aleene's and see if that helps. So while I'm waiting for that to dry, with fingers crossed, I go ahead and bring back our little booklets. And as you can see, I did spray them off camera. I just added a little bit of the Lindy's on the top of it to kind of, you know, make it look like it's a part of the journal spread. And I'm just taking some glue stick here, and I'm going to use the fun little heart doily that Nicole also added in this month's package. And I'm just using, I just want the outside little fancy bit. So I'm lining it up on both sides there, and then we will cut it down the middle, and this will kind of give our little booklet a fun, pretty border. So I have my scissors here, and make sure you don't cut off the pink strings that are hanging down from your journal, because that could easily happen if you're not watching how you're cutting. So I just kind of moved that out of the way on this one. And then I want to add something onto the back of that to help it stick more to the book as well. So I'm just going to take some plain white construction paper and glue my hearts onto that, and then cut around that as well. It doesn't have to be perfect, because nobody, I mean, well, somebody might see them when you take them off, but for me, it's my own journal, so it doesn't have to be super perfect. To use those fun little sticker bubbles that she sent, and I'm just putting the word love, so I have L-O on one half of my heart and V-E on the other, and that's going to be my super simple sentiment for this month, because hey, it's all about love, right? So I've got that there, and then I realized I wanted my heart to be lower, and I wanted the rickrack to line up with it. So I guess it was probably a good thing that I struggled with the glue, because now I can easily just take it off and move it to where I want. So again, we're still struggling with the glue, but oh, you know, that's kind of the fun of the process, right? It's like you come up with a problem and you get to figure out what is the best solution for said problem. So I add a bit more glue with the Aleene's just on the sides there to help it stick, in the hopes that that would work. And then I just go, okay, you have to move on with the process, and maybe a new solution will reveal itself. So just keep moving forward. So I decided to bring back a little bit more of the Lindy's stamp spray, and this was kind of that reddish orange one, and I'm just going to add some splats. Now that I have the red on the page, I want to incorporate that red in a couple other areas as well. So the next item on the prompt was Velcro. So this was where my little mini journal idea came into play. I'm going to take this sticky Velcro, and I'm using the like really rough side, and I'm putting that down first. So before I do that, now we're coming back to the rickrack, and this time I have to have a solution, or else I'm not going to be able to move forward. So as I'm holding it there, I'm thinking, what would be the best way to kind of keep this in place? And I thought, let's just use some double-sided tape. Now, of course, the double-sided tape isn't going to fit that whole rickrack, you know, that it goes up and down, it's all zigzag, and I'm not going to sit there and try and bend the double-sided tape around it. So I thought, that's okay. We'll just pull off the tape, we'll stick it down, and then I will grab a beautiful red glitter and add it around it. And that will also incorporate the red from around our heart. So that will bring that in as well. So see, as we continue to move through our issues, we come up with other solutions in ways that we can make it work within our journal spread. So always keep moving forward, stay open, don't have like a set outcome in your mind, because if you do, then you're not going to be open to these other possibilities of things that might present themselves and take your spread you know, a little further. If I panicked you when you saw all that glitter on my brayer, never fear, just a little bit of water, just run that baby right off. So no more sticky glitter there. Now I just have my Velcro and I'm pushing down that really hard side, and I'm going to cut the softer side and put that on the back sides of my journal. Now in hindsight, I probably should have used a smaller piece. I could have gotten away with way less on the back of my journal because it does make it a little bit harder to pull up, and you have to be careful because it's paper, so you might actually rip the paper. So you just be ginger with it. But for your journal, if you decide to use the Velcro in it, use just the smallest amount possible on the back of what you're going to pull up and down often, so it's easy to pull on and off. So see, it's a little bit of a struggle there because it's so long, but it totally works. And now we have 3 journals, well actually 2 journals within one, so it's like a 3 journal spread. Kind of crazy, but that's how I roll. To incorporate more of the black from the sentiment, I have a black pastel and I'm just running it around the outsides. Oh yeah, we're gonna get grungy. You know, Erin's gonna love a little bit of grunge. A grungy heart is, you know, grunge, sparkle, and hearts, love. That's what I'm about. So I'm just taking my finger and smudging that around. Then I decided to add a little bit more glitter into the center of my doilies. I'm drying that and kind of pushing the glitter off and just adding a little bit more grunge into the doilies, and that is pretty much going to finish up our journal spread today. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today and letting me share my love of sparkle, crackle, pink, grungy, you name it, we got it on this page. Also, be sure to check out both Laura and Nicole's videos. I will link those down in the description box below. And be sure to follow me and both ladies over on Instagram. Make sure you like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you want to play along with us, be sure to use the hashtag Mixed Media Menagerie. So this is it. This is our finished piece. We have our 2 little baby journals inside the journal spread. Thank you again for coming along with me. Lots of love to you all. And until next time, happy creating.